Oh, Steve White, Trekboy89 for Steve Arts 89. Well, I just want to comment on something that's been annoying me for a while. Two things. One, there seems to be a bit of confusion about the Star Trek universe, which universe particular TV shows or movie series actually are set in. And while I was discussing that, I got a lot of comments from people who were believing things they were being told today. And certain companies that own certain copyrights for certain TV shows are sort of doing a bit of revisionism, where they're sort of saying that things are a certain way when we know Star Trek fans have been around 15, 20, 30, 40, 50 years, 60 years almost, have lived through, these times, and with the series as it's evolved and the productions as they've gone on, sort of just know from interviews at the time, things that have happened and things that haven't happened. And what's happening is we're having new fans come in and tell us, no, you're wrong, that didn't happen. We are told by Paramount or CBS or whoever that this is how this is and this is how it was, and you're wrong. And then if you counter them, they say, well, where's your proof? Where's the article? Where's the quote? And it's like, you're expecting us to know quotes and articles from 10, 14, 15 years ago. Now, I have a fair amount of Star Trek books. Like, I've got like a shelf over there. It's just all Star Trek making of stuff. And here, in this pile here, is all my magazine interview stuff with Star Trek. Now, some of it's reprinted stuff, like the hardcover ones, which is all just articles from Star Trek Monthly. And we have things like the Star Trek fact files. Now, I had all of them. This is all I've kept because I needed the space. So I just kept all the stuff. It's mostly just stuff on the ships and the timelines and the history and stuff. I kept that, and the rest I have digital copies of, but finding them is a mess, not just because of how I filed them, but also because my computer was one that had a flaw, and I had to have the hard drive pulled out and everything and put back in. And I got all the files back, but they weren't organized. So I still am looking for things that I can't find because I've got just huge files of stuff that's all been dumped, and they weren't as they were originally filed. So that's a mess. I've been sorting that out for years. But I mean, I've got, stuff from the fact files and that, which is reprinted in the collection books. I've got of course the official Starship Guide stuff. Got some of them. I've got some of the movie magazines which had interviews with the cast and production. Some of the original poster books and some of the new ones, and they're actually programs. And we got stuff like Star Trek Communicator and the Star Trek movie Cinefex. I've got a lot of stuff that survived. The movie magazines for the original movies when they came out, which have interviews about the production. I do have a lot of stuff still in print, but it's mostly from the 80s and the early 90s. Not a lot from the 2000s. Like, a lot of it's just reprinted stuff from the Titan magazines, sort of in these sort of books, which are nice, because I have the digital copies of some of them, and that's about it. I kept like more printed ones, but literally this is it for me. I've got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then those other couple of ones I showed you a minute ago. So that's all I've kept. I bought them fairly regularly, but I didn't keep them. I either bought digital copies or I just got rid of them because I just didn't have the space. And so far as magazine articles like online that they did in the 2000s, basically what I would do is I'd go to school, because I was studying uni. I would just print out any article about Star Trek I could find, then take them home, and then I would read them on the bus on the way home. I had like a 45-minute, like 2 buses I had to catch to get home. Then when I moved again, I had a long tram ride and a bit of a walk. So basically what I would do is I'd print the stuff out. I didn't have time to sit there online and read it. I didn't have the internet at home at the time. And then I would read it on the bus on the way home, and then I'd keep it for a while, but I'd usually throw it out, because who's going to keep a big stack of, printed black and white pages? So a lot of these articles about the creation of the JJ films in that universe and the copyright and all that stuff that was briefly discussed in a few interviews and things here and there. I don't have any of that. I can't find any of that. How am I going to find an article from 15 years ago that I read once off a printout? But even if I didn't read it, if I was just reading it online, how am I going to remember that site? Is that site still going to be active? So saying, oh, because you can't find an article from 15 years ago that you didn't keep because it wasn't in print like this, means it didn't happen, and you're a liar. And Paramount, who has, has an agenda, has, a bias or whatever, because they're trying to sell a product and have to make it look good, and apparently making it look like it's all in the same universe is something they are preoccupied with. So I just wanted to show, this is all the stuff I've got. This is all the stuff I've got in print from magazines of Star Trek. It's still a bit, but it's nothing compared to the stuff I've read, which I can remember, but I don't have because most of it was either online or printed offline, and all those articles, all those magazines, all those websites are all gone from 10, 15 years ago. So using that as an excuse to try and discredit us and saying, well, you can't find something that, J.J. Abrams said 15 years ago in an article, it's just like all the videos that were done at the time. There was a lot of interviews done to promote Star Trek, and particularly Into Darkness, a lot of table talks and commentaries and podcasts and all these interviews people did that we all listened to. But do I have all those? Most of them are on YouTube or just random websites. I don't have all that now, but I know what they said. I remember from the time what they said, and people will say, oh, if you can't show us, then it doesn't exist, then you're just a liar. It's really frustrating. So yeah, I just want to make a video about that. So feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. Thanks.